to this Thursday, October 28th session of the Arizona Commerce Authority Small Business Bootcamp. My name is Faith Ritchie, and I'm the Small Business Programs Manager here at the ACA, filling in for usual host, Robert Theobald. As always, as we start these presentations, we always like to give acknowledgement and thanks to our many community partners who have continued to assist us in making these sessions possible. For those of you who may be new to the Small Business Bootcamp, the Bootcamp was designed to help prepare small businesses of less than 20 employees return from the COVID crisis stronger than ever. It is a statewide initiative supported by our community partners and is a resource collective and content library. So what are the Resource Collective and Content Library? The Resource Collective is made up of additional tools and guides provided by our statewide network to assist you in running your business effectively. The Content Library is the collection of our now more than 180 recorded webinar sessions covering many different topics, strategies, and tools to assist businesses to not only return stronger, but to stay strong. As always, for the most up-to-date COVID mitigation measures and resources, we recommend that you visit Arizona's website, arizonatogether.org, and the Arizona Commerce Authority's COVID-19 webpage. Additionally, the ACA has services and resources available to assist the small business community throughout the state. Whether you are looking to start, grow, or scale, there may be additional resources available for you. For information regarding our small business services, our Arizona at Work or the Arizona Manufacturing Extension Partnership, you can always visit the Arizona Commerce Authority's webpage. Speaking of looking to start, grow, and operate in Arizona, the ACA also hosts the Small Business Checklist, which is an interactive online guide to help answer all of those commonly requested licensing and permitting questions for local, state, and federal levels. Now for some quick business updates. As many of you know, Small Business Saturday is the Saturday following the Thanksgiving holiday and was created to highlight small businesses and the impact of shopping local. If you are a business that would find value in that purpose, we will be sharing a link in the chat to give you some insight and strategies on how to get registered. Earlier this week, Governor Ducey announced that $3.5 million would be available for programs to support continued economic growth and financial recovery as the state emerges from the pandemic. We will be sharing that press release announcement was made earlier this week in the chat, but be on the lookout as we plan to release additional information as well as a special session regarding this program as the information comes available. Our third update is through the Maricopa County Small Business Resilience Program, Local First Arizona, in partnership with the Arizona Community Foundation. They are facilitating stability grants for small businesses and micro enterprises for up to $25,000. Applications will be accepted from November 1st through March 31st of 2022. We have recently done a special session regarding this most new program, and so you can always visit that content library as a resource to review that information. But as always, we will be sharing an informational link in the chat so you can see if you are eligible to apply. Again, applications for this new grant program begins November 1st. Last but certainly not least, a resource that we will continue to highlight that may be an opportunity for your business is the employee retention credit. Again, we have done some previous bootcamp sessions, and we'll encourage you to visit that content library to review those recordings. But that information will also be shared in the chat for you. Looking ahead at some upcoming sessions, of course, we all know why we are here today. We're excited to welcome back Eli Chimoni of Neon to talk about what we believe, and I'm sure you do too, a widely discussed topic for small businesses of getting on to not just social media, but TikTok. But before we turn over the mic, next week we will be hosting another fun session on Tuesday entitled How to Handle Haters. In this session, we will discuss and learn how to handle those challenging, I was going to say favorite, but maybe, those challenging, demanding, and difficult customers, especially as we go into a high stress season. This is going to be a great conversation, and we encourage you to join us for that discussion. Additionally, we will be hosting our 200th Small Business Bootcamp session next Thursday. For this 200th session, we will be joined by the Small Business Administration to highlight the SBA's National Veterans Small Business Week. This session will focus specifically on small business programs for veterans that are available to help and support those efforts. But as always, we encourage any small business owner to join, as there are always great pieces of information in these sessions, as well as to celebrate 200 sessions of content, which is just amazing. Now, without further ado, I'm happy to introduce Eli Chimoni, founder and CEO of Neon. We have been very lucky to have Eli join us for earlier presentations, including his most recent presentation regarding guerrilla marketing tactics. That session was fantastic, and I know I keep saying this, but that recording is also available in the content library. And if you were unable to join us for his previous session, we encourage you to revisit that and watch that recording. But for today, he will be focusing again on that wild topic, and that is TikTok for your business. So thank you again, Eli, for joining us today. I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen and turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Faith. Hey, everyone. Let me go ahead and share my screen before we kick things off. There we go. Well, thank you for joining this workshop. I'm super excited to be partnering with the ACA. I've started over the past 10 years, 5 businesses, 2 of which have exited. And during that time, I've been heavily involved with the ACA in a variety of different programs. So happy to participate and give back to the community, just because the ACA has supported me so much in terms of my journey to be a successful entrepreneur and to help my business grow, to really get it to the point that it's at today. Overall, the business that I have today is called Neon, and we started this company about a couple of years ago now. And the whole point of it is, as you know, if you're a business owner, you always have announcements that you want to share with your staff or with your guests that are coming, or with your visitors or clients. And a lot of times that happens to be through pop-up banners or through flyers or different things like that. So we developed a software that allows you to convert the TV screen that you might have in your lobby, or maybe the TV screen that you have in your restaurant, into a communication platform that you can use to share announcements, videos, images in the form of digital signage to your clients that are at your facility or in your venue. So this could be anything from healthcare to the digital menu boards that maybe you see in restaurants. And we've been successful enough to grow this company even through the pandemic and kind of coming out on the other side. And I'm excited to share with you today one of the things that excites me, which is brand creation, and especially with a focus on TikTok, since it's a fast-growing platform and if you're still, finally getting used to Facebook and Instagram, there's like, oh, here's a new one that you have to get used to, because it's a great tool for storytelling. And I'm excited to share with you some of these tools and tips. We're going to keep today mainly at a high level. I'm going to share with you some techniques of how to create your TikTok account and what sort of content you might put on it. But overall, I want you to know that this is more of an introduction and a high-level overview. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and then we can get to those. In the Q&A session, and then we can get to those toward the end of the workshop. So I'll make sure we have about 20 minutes toward the end. So as I mentioned today, we're going to go over what is TikTok. We're going to dig into understanding how does the TikTok algorithm really works. What kind of content is accepted on there, and then really kind of get to the point where, hey, maybe these are 4 to 5 ideas that you can use directly into your business to start creating your TikTok and just to start dabbling. So I'm not sure at what stage of your business that you do you have a current account? Are you considering having a TikTok account? Are you considering if it's a fit? So we're kind of going back to basics a bit and kind of ramping up from there. So let's go ahead and start by understanding what is TikTok. You probably have heard about it on social media, or if you have teenage kids or me, you probably have heard that TikTok is the newest, hottest thing that is growing incredibly fast. It's a social media platform that is primarily video based. So if you have Instagram and you're familiar with Instagram stories or Facebook stories, or if you remember Vine back in the day where it's like 6-second videos, this is basically that, but on steroids. These are full screen videos that are about a 1 minute to 3 minute in duration, that are video based, that is growing super fast in terms of the amount of people that use the platform, and especially in the amount of content that gets consumed, because this content is very Vine-like, is very quick to be consumed. There are billions and billions of videos consumed on TikTok on a daily basis. So TikTok started, you might know the old model as hey, this was the Musical.ly app, or where people were used to just like dance on it, and that's still a pretty big portion of the app, but it has expanded over the past year, especially with the pandemic and people being at home and looking for entertainment options. It has expanded way beyond that to be also a great platform for businesses, and a lot of corporations are starting to jump on the bandwagon. So our goal today is to educate you as an SMB owner how to get on that platform and how to optimize it in order to grow your business. So the reason it mainly matters is, as we kind of look at the numbers, it has about 1.5 billion global downloads. So you can kind of start seeing that it's kind of getting to those numbers of how many active users are actually on Instagram. So in terms of just the US alone, there's about 100 million US active users. So given the population of the US, you're talking about a 30 to 35% of the population of the US actually having TikTok. And it's continuing to grow month after month. You're also talking about a demographic that tends to be a bit on the younger side, right? So you're talking about demographic that goes anywhere from 10 years old to 49 years old, and you can kind of see the split there on the screen. I'm not going to read every single bullet, but depending on what kind of business you have, the reason I'm sharing those numbers is if you are a restaurant and you're trying to target females and males are in the 20 to 29 age range, then it's definitely a platform that you're missing out on if you're not on it, right? Because about 30% of the users are in that demographic. And so take those numbers into account in terms of realizing if TikTok is the right platform for you. So if you're doing more B2B sales, is it really the right platform for you? Maybe not immediately, but maybe it's something that you want to get on and create an account so you can reserve the company name before it continues to grow and someone else has that name that you can't claim later on. So those are kind of some of the thoughts that I want you to think about as you consider if TikTok is a good option for your business at this stage. The other thing is the big number is the engagement. On average, people spend 52 minutes every day on TikTok, and I can completely attest to that because I actually have a time lock on my TikTok app that basically said, hey, lock out the app after 1 hour, because you don't believe how addictive it is and how fast you consume that content that an hour or two will pass by and you don't even notice it. So for you as a business owner, if you're trying to get into this space, definitely put a time lock, because you're going to be using a lot of your time just like scrolling other content. So just make sure that you are controlling that, because it does get into a time suck. We'll talk about the algorithm here in a second. The thing that I want to focus on as part of that engagement is about 18% are micro influencers. And we talked about this a bit in our guerrilla marketing workshop that we did a week or so ago. What micro influencers are people who are not super famous, but they have a pretty good presence on TikTok, right? So they have a lot of views, they have a lot of engagement on TikTok, and those could be people in your local community. So that could be the local mom or the local dad or the local athlete at a high school or things like that. Those are people who have followers because they post regularly, they have a great story, and those are good people to follow and to connect with, mainly from the perspective of like, hey, if I'm a restaurant owner and I see that there's a micro influencer in the area in Phoenix and I have a great restaurant, I might want to reach out to them and be like, hey, come over for free dinner, and in exchange, can you post about us on TikTok? Because there has been many studies, and I've done this workshop a couple of times where I do the follow-up after, where they say, oh, this micro influencer came over and did a couple of videos really quick and posted about us, and we had a line out of the door the next day. So it definitely works. It is super hyper focused in terms of the content that you see. So with 1.5 billion global users, you're not going to see content that's not relevant to you. So what it really does is it kind of corners the algorithm in terms of your location, in terms of your interest, and starts feeding you content that way. So if you're trying to target people in the Phoenix area and someone is posting from Phoenix, most likely that video will kind of get to that community just from a geofencing perspective. So how does it work, and why is it different than Instagram? Why should I care about this? Why should I even create an account? And I don't have the time, Eli, like another thing that I have to manage. So on Instagram, the general vibe on Instagram is everything has to look super pretty. Everything has to be like, well photoshopped, nice photos, nice, a nice setup, everything is kind of like this idealistic world, right? And everyone knows this. Everyone, knows that like things on Instagram are not how things look in real life. And Instagram has pretty much very basic editing features, right? Like you take your photo, you can go in there, change maybe the brightness, put some filters on there, do some really minimal things, and you get to post this square image that goes out to everyone, and that's pretty much it. What TikTok is more about is about storytelling. Because you are using video, you're 100,000 times more likely to get engagement, just because it's about story, it's about engagement, it's a more visual stimulus than the Instagram scroll and then double tap. So what happens with that is because you only have 60 seconds, you have to create content that's captivating within the first 3 to 5 seconds, because that swipe on the phone is so easy to get to that you lose the interest of people. And I was just sharing with Faith and Lisa before the boot camp started here, before this workshop started, that literally now when I watch a YouTube video and they start the YouTube video with like, hey guys, how's it going? And they do their like logo animation. I'm like, you're wasting time. Like, get to the point. And that's what TikTok is all about. It's about getting to the point and building that story and showing the value and creating the suspense enough that someone's going to watch your entire video. TikTok rates you better as someone watches more of your video versus watch the first 3 seconds and then swipe it up. So that's why the quality of the content is less about like the perfection of it, and it's more about being authentic and telling a good story. So, which is great for a small business owner, because that means you don't need to hire an agency to do this. You don't need to have a specialist that's managing your TikTok account. You can just literally whip out your phone and start telling stories and kind of walk around your place. Or, if you have a restaurant, show us how you're doing the sandwich, showing showing us some of the behind the scenes stuff. People love that kind of content. And the beauty of it is it comes with a very powerful editing feature. So when you install TikTok and you start using some of the editing tools and the filters and the things that they have, it is amazing how powerful that editing is. It's like equivalent to like using like Final Cut or something like that, because you're able to take short videos, clip them together, transition them between each other, have some really cool animations, and it's less about the perfection of it, and it's more about the storytelling that happens between your content. So let's understand a bit about how the algorithm works. And so when you grab your phone and actually film your TikTok, it's less hashtag based, it's less description based, because the algorithm is so strong it actually analyzes your entire video. It's analyzing the audio, it's analyzing the quality of the video, it's analyzing what's included in the video. So, you know, when you hear the story of like TikTok is spying on you, I'm not too shocked, to be honest. They have a pretty strong algorithm, because you can be like searching something completely different or talking to a friend about it, and all of a sudden within 30 minutes, that stuff is showing up on your feed. So it's pretty intuitive that way. Now, here's how it works. Let's say you create a video and you upload it to TikTok. The way TikTok does it, especially if you're a brand new account and you don't have more than 1,000 followers on there, they take that video and then they share it with 100 people. They use those 100 people as basically the tests, as the focus group of that video. So then that video will show up on something known as a For You page. What a For You page, or FYP, is basically a series of recommended videos that, that TikTok believes these are videos that you might like based on prior videos that you have watched. And as you use TikTok more and more, I feel TikTok gets to the point of knowing you more than you know yourself. In terms of some of the recommendations that they send to you. So when that video gets posted and it gets sent to those 100 people, it gets sent to those 100 people based on what TikTok believes this is similar content, this might be interesting to those people. And the way that you can tell if you're a user on TikTok and you're swiping through, sometimes you're going to see videos that have like millions of likes, 100,000 likes, super engagement. And then sometimes you're going to get a video that has like 5 views or 10 views. So you got selected as part of that focus group that's getting that video. Now, if you sit there and you watch the entire video, you are basically telling TikTok, hey, this is a really good video. I give it a thumbs up. So out of the 100 people who got that video, TikTok basically measures how many people watched this entire video and how many people just switched right away, right? The video was like silly, it was nothing, right? It was like someone just kind of filming their window. And then people would be like, no, I'm not going to consume that content. So they flick it in like 2 seconds. So it gets to the 100 people. And then those people basically are your first like focus group. And those people say, yeah, this is reasonable. If 70% of the people say, yeah, this is good, I like it, I follow it, I watch the whole thing, this is cool stuff. And then TikTok gives you different scores if you watch the whole thing versus like the video versus follow that account. But anyway, after you do the 100, then it goes to 1,000 people. Then it goes to 10,000 people, and it's the same process. So from the 100, once you get approved by those 100 that says, hey, this is a cool video, then it goes to 1,000. Then you're like, all right, is it really a cool video? Then it goes to 10,000. Then it goes to 100,000. It just keeps going from there. So the idea is the quality of the video that you upload, it's less dependent on like hashtags and what should I describe this, because there's something called the hashtag challenge on TikTok, where basically people just post content without any hashtags, without any descriptions, to prove that the TikTok algorithm is so powerful that you know, you're going to get recommended that video whether they put description in there or not. So that's, you know, you can look it up. It's called the TikTok hashtag challenge. But anyway, as you kind of get approved through all these different channels, as you kind of get filtered, then that's how your content goes viral. So that's why it's important for your first 6 seconds of the videos to be engaging, so people kind of watch more of that video. That's why it's important for the quality to be somewhat good, especially with audio. Don't post anything with bad audio. It's very engaging that way. And that's why it's important to be telling a story. A lot of the videos that get watched toward the end, it's like, they kind of build up the suspense. There's a good storyline there that you want to watch to the end to see what happens there, right? So keep those things in mind, because understanding the algorithm of TikTok will help you to create better content to get higher engagement. But please, please, please don't get discouraged if you create a TikTok account, you post a couple of videos, you're like, only my daughter saw these, like no one saw these, like why am I creating this? TikTok rewards consistency. In order to basically start showing higher and higher on TikTok, it's recommended that you post twice a day. Twice a day. So think about that from that perspective. So you have to whip out your phone, record it, and do something twice a day. And that's how you start getting ranked higher and higher as, hey, this is an active account versus you're just like a consuming account of content. So don't get discouraged within the first month or so of like not getting the engagement that you want. It does take some time to build that audience. But once you have that content that's nailed out, then you can start basically having those followers and having that engagement. the other part that I want to talk about is one of the big things that TikTok talks about, even for their ads that show up on the platform, is we say, don't create ads, create TikToks. The whole idea is it's all about a story. The minute any viewer sees that you're selling something hard, or that this is you're pitching a business or something like that, it tends to be very discouraging for the content. People on that app want to be entertained. Comedy is a really big thing. People want to have fun on that app. So there's an overall positive vibe on the app. And you'll see in the comments as you start consuming some of that content, it's a very encouraging environment in terms of it's less negative than Facebook and things like that, because their community guidelines tend to be a bit more strict on that perspective. So I want you to kind of think from that perspective of like, if I'm not really selling this hard, what is the story that I need to tell to get that message across for someone to engage with my content? Less than, hey guys, come on over and try our new burger. Like, that's not going to work as much as a video that shows you making the burger and showing maybe like a really delicious close-up of you stacking the burger. And then you can go on TikTok and search burger, and you can kind of see some examples of content that did well and content that didn't do well. So I would say focus less on a sales pitch and sales drive, and use this more as a way to build your brand. And then guess what? When people know about your brand, then they will convert. Then you can start kind of directing them to, if you have a Shopify website, you can direct them there. But there's an account that I follow that she never says like, buy my candles, but she shows great videos of how to do these candles, and just like mesmerizing to see. There's also another one that shows, she's a bee remover, and it just shows videos of her on the job every day. And it's like just super soothing to watch. And it's just like, you consume it just from that perspective, but she has like 8.9 million followers. So think about it from that perspective, in terms of building your brand, of what content can I create to engage rather than just like sell automatically. All right, so how do we get started? You're probably thinking about this like, well, Eli, I have to post twice a day. I barely post on Instagram. I'm not that creative. I don't want to get in front of the camera. I'm not techie. I don't know really how to use these editors. TikTok is all about dancing. I'm not going to go ahead and dance. Well, there's more to TikTok than that. The biggest thing is don't get on there and think it's like LinkedIn or take it too seriously. Honestly, just start doing something. If you're not super comfortable with it, is there someone on your team that is comfortable with it? Is there someone that is okay with being on camera and telling the story? And then a simple thing from a small business is, especially if you're trying to target a local community, is can you use TikTok to tell a story about you, about your background, about why you started the business, about maybe your employees and what they're going through, and maybe how you overcame COVID. Like, people love those stories. So as I was telling you, it's a very supportive community. So just whip out your phone and start recording something. It might be daunting in the beginning in terms of the editing and the filters and the features and things like that. Just play around with it, mess around with it, click around and see what happens. And even if you mess it up, it's one video, big deal. They ask you to post 2 videos a day to kind of stay relevant, right? So one video out of the hundreds of videos that are posted every single second is like not a big deal. Like, you can delete it later, you can do whatever you want. So my first thing in terms of like, how to get started is, 1, install the app, reserve the name of your business. And number 3 is just start watching content for inspiration. I can guarantee you spend 1 hour looking through content, searching content, then you're going to start seeing something that resonates with you. Be like, oh, I can do this for my business. I can do this for my restaurant. I can do this for my Shopify store. I can do this for my services business and my plumbing business and things like that. So you can start kind of seeing some of that stuff that way in terms of engagement and just creativity of some of the ideas that you want to come up with. So a lot of people think that TikTok is all about dancing. It's not anymore. There's still a pretty big portion of dancing, but you don't have to dance, right? You can create maybe a dance challenge that you can ask your followers after you have like 1,000 followers to come dance at your restaurant, come dance at my business, or dancing on the job or something like that. It does engage well because TikTok has so many licenses for different popular songs right now. So kind of like search those songs and you can use them over your video as an option for you, versus like if you try to use a famous song on Facebook or YouTube, you're going to get blocked because of copyright. You know, and if you're camera shy, then you don't have to be on camera, right? Your whole thing is use someone else on your team that is on camera, or maybe just use your phone to show your product, to show your service. You can just show the behind the scenes from your like point of view as well. If you're not creative, again, like I told you, spend like 20 minutes looking through stuff on TikTok, and it's okay to steal ideas. It's okay to kind of look at what they're doing and copy it and see what's working and what's not. And then you're actually going to see a trend on TikTok where creators be like, oh, wow, this creator got 3.9 million likes on this video. They go ahead and create it in a different way, trying to copy the exact same trend, and they get more likes that way. So it's the community supports stuff like that in terms of spin-off creativity from existing videos. And then don't worry about being techie, because honestly, the app is super easy. Maybe the first time you log in, you're like, where do I click? So just like the user experience might take you a bit, but you know, if a 12-year-old can use it and post videos and edit it and things like that, I think you got it. I think you figured it out. You have a business running. You know, TikTok is just a small challenge in the grand scheme of things of what you're doing. So let's talk a bit about best practices before we dig into some of the content that might make sense. One, do your research. We already talked about that. The second thing is keep it simple. I reiterate this so many times. Don't overdo your TikToks. Don't go, you know, too crazy on it. Don't spend too much money on it. Just be relevant. It's about storytelling. It's about connecting those consumers to your business, and a storytelling way to say, hey, we're just like you. We're a local business. You know, tell us that story, and then engage with them, whether from an employee side, from a product side, from a history side of the business. Why did you start the business? Who are the employees? Things like that. Talk fast and edit fast. So as you can see, I'm a fast talker. So this kind of works on TikTok. But the thing is it's all about pushing content out. You need content out. So don't worry about having it perfect. You have 60 seconds, grab someone's attention within the first, 3 to 4 seconds to 6 seconds, and then just keep going and post more and more and more and see what works and what doesn't. There's not that perfect formula, because you might see accounts, by the way, that have one video that has like 3 million likes versus other videos that have 1,000 likes. So you might hit that, like one video becomes viral versus the other videos are not going to do very well. TikTok has a great feature that is live, and through live, it's live Q&A. What you can do is you can get live on TikTok and you can answer questions from your followers or anyone who is within that community. So it will just kind of show up on all their walls. The other thing is when people comment on your post, there's an option to respond to a comment with another video. And those do really well usually, because you're kind of just, again, hyperventilating this whole engagement thing that TikTok tried to get to you. And the last thing is TikTok does give you analytics. There's a whole dashboard on analytics and performance. So keep track of that, see what resonates with your audience, and then do more of that. So there's, I can't tell you there's a perfect formula of what works for a plumber versus a restaurant versus a lawyer in terms of creating TikToks, but it's more about getting out there and starting and then collecting the data and then in doing more of that. So I'm going to try to wrap up here in the next 6 minutes to give you enough time to ask questions. Here are some ideas that I think are good for you to start with in terms of having a small business. So one of the things here, and by the way, there's a whole link here of like 41 other ideas that you can use. The first one is introduce yourself. Tell me a bit more about who you are. What are you trying to do? What's the background of the business? Use some like music behind it. Make it super simple, super easy. Connect with me as a human. Tell me more about your story. So that's a really good, popular way of doing it. One thing that I want to share with you as well, and we probably don't have time to go over all that kind of stuff today. This presentation will be available for you to view afterwards. Each one of these has an example in it. So if you click, for example, on this, I shared with you an example of how you can basically create something like this. So as you can see, this entrepreneur has a small business where she does jewelry. This is a super simple video that she did. Look how simple it is, just introducing herself. And she already has about 62,000 likes on this, 816 comments, and there are about 877 shares. And you're probably wondering, how am I able to pull TikTok on a website? every video that you post on the app, you can also watch online, but majority of the consumption tends to be through the app as well. So that's kind of one example. As you can see, it's super easy, super straightforward. There's really not much in terms of the audio. It's just a song that she puts over. So this is a very straightforward example of how you can get started today to tell us about your business. The second thing is tell us about a day in the life. So as I mentioned to you, for example, the bee remover. Take the camera with you in terms of your job. If you're a plumber, show us like a bad plumbing job that you encountered. People love that stuff in terms of content consumption. They want to kind of like shadow and see what's happening out there through different jobs. There are so many people that post from like, oh, like attending my 7th Zoom call for the day and things like that. So you can post some of that content that makes it relevant. So here's an example of that as well. And again, you can watch all that stuff after. So a simple home office tour of the business. Again, very simple overlay text. Notice that it's not high production. You're just telling me what's happening here. And even this simple video of just like a cat in it, showing me the business, showing me all the label markers, all that kind of stuff, has 10,000 likes on it, 140 shares, and 47 comments. So the point that I'm trying to get to you is don't get overwhelmed with like, oh my God, it's TikTok, it's a brand new platform. Like, what should I do? As you can see, just grab your phone, start recording, tell me more about you, connect with me as a person, and your videos are gonna start getting out there. Show before and after. So if you're doing remodeling, if you're showing maybe like even a burger, you can show like, hey, these are the ingredients before, this is the ingredient after, and kind of show like this really delicious burger on your TikTok. This is in terms of a renovation. So you can see here, just kind of going through that very simple video. Again, we're not using much here. It's probably a phone on a tripod showing me different things, very quick consumption. Look at this. 4.4 million likes on this video. And it's a very straightforward video. It's just a time-lapse video. And as you can go through it, you can see that it's only 1 minute. She's taking us through an entire renovation of her office and what she's done in terms of the full renovations, the photos, everything like that in 1 minute. And look how many likes she had. She has 52,000 shares. 52,000 people saw this and shared it with someone else. 27,000 likes. So you can get a sense of even these simple videos, this simple creative can get you a lot of content and creativity out there. Meet the team is super popular, where you get to introduce people on your team. You get to show us kind of what's behind the scenes, who are the people, and then even like, I mean, look at this video. This is like super cringy to watch sometimes, but even with that, you have close to 10,000 likes on this. So just getting your entire team on that vibe of like, hey, we're doing TikToks, we're going to start telling stories. I can guarantee you probably 80% of your team already has TikTok and they're watching it and they're using it as a consumer. So might as well kind of get in on that creator side as well. And as you can see, this entire video is like less than 15 seconds. Product how-to, where you get to kind of show us a bit more about your product, about an explanation about how to use a product, how to do all this kind of stuff. So you can see this is a very simple video showing how to put that earring inside her ear. So she's selling this product and she's just showing us how to put that earring, how to literally put an earring in your ear and what are the different options for it. And that already has 50,000 likes. So I hope that this basically releases some of your stress in terms of like, okay, I guess I can do something like that, right? Like, this is not that hard. I guess I can do it. That's the big thing, right? A lot of people get overtaken by like, oh my God, another social media platform that I have to manage. And it's not. This is super easy to create. And then you can kind of go from there. And the last thing that I want to kind of get to is your time-lapse option. And I showed that in the renovation. But here's another example for you. It's super simple where, you know, it's just like a painting business. I think this account has a Etsy page where she sells some of these things. So just different things like that. Again, 43 seconds. That's it. It's a camera. She's doing her work. Like, this is her job. This is her business. She's just doing the work and recording it and posting it out there. And this has 1.1 million likes with 28,000 shares. So as you can see here, the opportunity is just, as you can, you know, here's the final result and boom. So again, the likes are because the product is great, but the likes is also because this is engaging, this is captivating. I want to watch to the end of this video to see how this looks. This is what I was telling you about. Build that story so people watch the entire video. So that being said, to kind of go back here, I did share with you about 41 other ideas in this link. So feel free to click on that link and kind of see some options. But I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to try to open it up for Q&A and see if you have any specific questions that I can help you with in your particular business.
Woo! Excellent. Thank you so did it. I felt like I was watching a TikTok. No, thank you so much, Eli. And I think I can't emphasize enough that advice of just start. We hear so many businesses who are interested in joining, but want to do it perfectly. And there is no perfect way. It really is just get started. So thank you so much for bringing that up. If you do have questions for Eli, please post those in the Q&A. We do have time to get those answered for you. So we will go ahead and start answering those questions. Currently in the Q&A, we have a question. Can you make content in advance and schedule posts out?
Great question. Yes, you can. It's called drafts. So you can create the content, you can kind of basically get it ready, and you can call it, and you save it in something called a draft folder in your account. Basically, it's not published publicly. You cannot schedule a post. You cannot say, hey, I want to post this video on Thursday at 7 a.m. But you can save it as drafts. You can have this like library of different content that you have in your account. And then, on Thursday, you can go in your account and say publish. And then that account will, that video will go live, but you can't pre-schedule time, but you can pre-create the content.
Excellent. Also in the Q&A, can you go over what should be in the profile for optimum business?
Yeah, so what I recommend in your profile, so if you open up your TikTok account, and what you will see here, and let me kind of just do it really quick. What you will see is you will have kind of like your photo on the top, you have your username, and you have a section over here where you can have a description of your profile. There's something called Linktree. So TikTok allows you to put a link there to your Instagram account. So definitely do that. Allow people who find you on Instagram to also find you on, allow people who found you on TikTok to also find you on Instagram and other social media platforms. There's an option where you can allow messaging. So enable that for everyone. So even if someone finds you and they want to send you a message, go ahead and use that option for them to send you a message. And there's a third option, which is called Linktree, where you can put a link in your TikTok profile. And when you click on Linktree, you can go to linktree.com, or Canva has their own option as well, where you can put links to multiple other things. So you can put a link to your Shopify store, put a link to your YouTube channel, put a link to your Facebook page. You can put links to different things. So it's known as a Linktree, and it will just open up as a page in your profile. So that's how you get people who get to your profile to also engage with you beyond. But a simple one-liner description of what the business is, a link to your Instagram, enable messaging, and then if you want, you can also do a link to your Shopify store or address or anything like that if you want people to engage with you depending on your business.
Fantastic. We have two questions kind of similar, but the first is it possible to localize or target locations if our service area is only in a few cities?
No, TikTok's going to send the video out most likely to your area. So that will be the majority of your views. But it doesn't matter if you don't serve other areas, or if you're a restaurant in Phoenix that gets viral, like in New York. Like I have something on my feed that's like New York restaurants and San Francisco trips and things like that. That's going to happen. So it's hard to kind of localize it that way. You can put hashtags like Phoenix, PHX, Arizona, things like that. But if your content gets picked up, like, remember the 100,000, 10,000, if it gets picked up, people are going to see it. If people like food and you're a restaurant content, and then TikTok scanned your profile and saw that this is a food content, it's going to go out there, and that's absolutely fine. And you should be okay with knowing that not all your followers are within your 20-mile radius of service.
Fantastic. Going on that same wavelength, are there any suggestions that you can provide about optimizing SEO on those posts and profile?
No. So again, TikTok is so content based. So you need to have good content to get out there. There's no like gimmicks and tricks and hacks for the system. Don't like hire a Fiverr account that will tell you will get you like a million TikTok followers. You will get banned because they know these like bots and things like that. So just be careful on that kind of stuff. It's literally about being consistent, posting content regularly, and posting good content.
Excellent. Are hashtags as relevant on TikTok as they are on other forms of social media, such as Instagram?
You can. It only allows you, I think, to put 3 or 5 hashtags. So you can't put like Instagram, where now like sometimes I click on a post where like read more and just like hashtags, like they're trying to show up on every single wall. And so to go back to my point, it's less hashtag based, and usually look up TikTok hashtag challenge, where people just post content without any hashtag, and then they're like, huh, this showed up on your wall. This says something about you. This is the kind of stuff that you like. So they're like challenging the TikTok algorithm because it sent you content based on things that you've liked in the past, although that video had no description and no hashtags.
Fantastic. Also in the Q&A, great questions. I love seeing this. Do you have any advice on how to get engagement from other countries that speak other languages?
I mean, maybe posting content in different languages definitely works. But I think that's an interesting question. I don't know a specific answer to that, especially from other countries. I know on my wall, I get content like I say it wall on my For You page. I need to use the right term. On my FYP, I get content from all over the world. And it's customized based on stuff that I liked before. So sometimes I get content that's not even in English, but it's visual enough that you can get the message across, that I understand what's happening in the video. But I don't know the best way of like getting your content in other countries other than probably optimizing your description or having the audio in that video, because TikTok scans the audio as well, to also be in other languages. So to kind of like trick it somehow.
Excellent. And now, Eli, I know many of social media has additional help centers, some different resources for small businesses and users to get the most out of those profiles. Are there similar resources outside of today's presentation that new TikTok users can take advantage of?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, like YouTube is still a pretty big educational platform for you to like learn more about TikTok and see what other influencers or how other business owners are using this. But the TikTok account itself, there's a TikTok account for small business that you can also follow that gives you a lot of tips and tricks about, don't create ads, create TikToks, focus on content, focus on story. So you can also follow some of that stuff. And there's a lot of, consultants that actually have their own TikTok account now that they offer quick tips, like 60-second tips on TikTok in terms of, how to use the platform, or try this today and check out this new feature, or check out this new transition and things like that. So those are kind of different ways. Trust me, once you install it and get started, you'll pick it up. This is not a rocket science in terms of like, what should I post? Once you kind of spend a day or two or a week on it, you kind of start getting ideas of how to use it. Personally, funny enough, my whole TikTok account, for my business, for Neon, we tend to be more B2B. I did create an account. I did reserve the name for the sake of it. We don't do a lot on it because we tend to be more B2B. We're starting to kind of explore that now because more and more people are getting on TikTok, and you might have a director on TikTok that is a consumer, but is also a director of marketing in another company that might find it interesting as well. So there's also the B2B opportunity. On my personal TikTok, I just post videos of me pranking my mom, and that's pretty much it. So you're not going to see me dancing or doing any of these things.
I think you're going to find some new followers after that today. In the Q&A, great question. Is it better to use captions?
Yes. So there's a lot of people watch this content, probably in the restroom or at work or something like that, where the audio is not on. So that's why you see a lot of those videos that I shared with you today. There's an option for you to turn on auto subtitle, where it kind of starts like showing the text also on the screen. So you get that closed caption effect, where people can read the content and instead of like actually having to listen to it. And as you saw from all the videos that I showed you today, you were able to engage with them and get a gist of the video without even hearing anything. So they did a pretty good job at kind of telling the story visually rather than depending on audio as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Again, we do have some time, so if you do have questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A. As mentioned in the chat, today's session is being recorded, and the PowerPoint slide deck and recording will be available on our website for you to go back and revisit if you would like after today's session. Let's see, back in the Q&A. Let's see, when mentoring reserve the name, is it different than your username? Oh, when mentioning reserving the name, is it different than your username? Apologies.
No, your username is like your at whatever it is, right? So if you have a, mine's Neon Screens for the business. So I just made sure because there's so many people getting on TikTok, right? So if you're going to join last, someone else is going to have that name, and you're going to have to go with like neon_dot screens and like start putting all these different characters, which makes it harder for people to search for you if you're like at a booth or a trade show and you say, hey, follow me on TikTok, and you're like, oh, I can't find you. That's what I'm saying about like it's a good idea to get on the trend, because TikTok is not going anywhere. It is going to be the next big thing. It is the next big thing. So it's just a matter of reserving that username so no one else will use it before you.
Fantastic. Eli, any suggestions on how to create content and share it to other social media platforms so you aren't recreating that wheel, such as Insta stories?
Yeah, so when if you are actually on Instagram stories or on Instagram reels, Instagram Reel was a knockoff of TikTok, right? So TikTok was growing, Instagram needed to do something, so they created Reel. You'll see, I would say about 80% to 90% of the content on there is TikTok content. And it's a good thing for you as a small business if you're starting right now with TikTok, and here's why. If you already have all your followers on Instagram and you have a pretty good engagement on Instagram, when you post on TikTok, there's an option for you to save that video. And what TikTok does automatically for copyright issues is it puts a watermark over that video with your TikTok username and their logo. So now when you take that exact same video and post it on your Instagram reel or your Instagram story, now the people who are following you on Instagram, they're going to see that now you have a TikTok account, and they can see the name right there, and they can look you up if they want to follow you there as well. So it's a good way to kind of start engaging some of the people that you already have in your Facebook and Instagram community and bring them over to TikTok as well, to be like, hey, we're also on TikTok. The process is very easy. After you create a TikTok, there's an option where you can hold down the video, like press on the screen, and then a pop-up shows up where you get to save that video. You get to save it and then just upload it on your Instagram reel.
Excellent. I know so many people utilize that function. So thank you so much for that question and explanation. I'm already seeing requests for a part 2 of this conversation. So that always is so nice to hear. We do not have a part 2 scheduled for this year, but who knows, maybe we can chat Eli into joining us next year. But as he mentioned, there are so many resources available for optimizing that TikTok account. So we do encourage you to take advantage of those free resources online as well, to get a little leg up before that next session or potential session. All right, taking one last check into the Q&A in chat. So I don't want to cut anyone short from those questions. A lot of praise for that part 2 request.
This is social pressure. Is this what peer pressure is all about?
This is it. This is it.
My mother warned me about this. My mother warned me.
Valerie's question is, will this webinar be recorded? Again, yes, for everyone participating. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers. Today's presentation is recorded and will be available potentially even later today on our website. Lisa is always so great and shares that link in the chat with you. So if you want to rewatch this recording or to review that slide deck on your own, to rewatch all of those examples and demonstrations that Eli was able to provide during today's session, you can do that using that link as well. I don't see any new questions, so we'll go ahead and wrap up today's boot camp. I know this was a highly requested topic, and we are so happy to have Eli join us again to discuss. We hope that you enjoyed it. Again, this will all be available on our website, and hope that you return next Tuesday as we learn how to deal with those haters. So hope you all have a great day and a safe and fun weekend. Thank you again, Eli. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.